What's going on, everyone? It looks like the market chopped everyone out today. You can see that there was clear resistance right here at the peak. Just kidding. Anyway, lots to talk about today. If you guys enjoy the content that I put out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, put on post notifications, do all that good stuff. All right, in today's video, we're gonna go over the indices market, the bond market, the crypto market, and again, thank you guys for all of your support. You guys are making me famous on YouTube, and I am very happy and thankful for that, and I'm very glad I can help so many people. So, without further ado, let's get started with the video. So the first thing to look at is that after the market closed, Apple released pretty negative news. It says that they're poised to slash iPhone production due to chip crunch. So that caused Apple's stock to fall pretty dramatically. And because Apple is so heavily weighted in the NASDAQ, lots of NASDAQ companies also began to fall. And that does not really look too good for the NASDAQ tomorrow. We did buy into Lotto calls at the close, so we'll see how that turns out tomorrow. But bad news out of Apple. So some more bad news for number 2 is we did not fall down to this 0.618% fib level at 356.19. I would have liked us to fall and at least touch that level today, but we didn't. So that's a bit worrisome. It means that we could fall down a bit lower, especially with this bad Apple news. But the most bullish news for the NASDAQ is that the 30-year bond looks like it's going to cross above and close above this major support level that we broke. Remember? So as we broke down below this level, stocks began to fall. But now, you know, the fact that we're closing above this level, if we can continue on higher tomorrow, that might be very, very good for our QQQ calls. Essentially, you know, we saw strength in the 30-year bond, but tons of weakness in the NASDAQ. So that gave me, you know, a bit of an opportunity to go ahead and buy into those calls because there's a clear discrepancy. We've been seeing as the 30-year bond falls, the NASDAQ also falls. But when the 30-year bond bounces, the NASDAQ is supposed to bounce as well. But that didn't happen today. So that's why I bought into Lotto calls. But I did not throw the entire house. I didn't throw the whole kitchen sink at it. This was just a bounce purely off of the fact that the 30-year bond is starting to show strength. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that when the 30-year bond is bullish, the NASDAQ is bullish. When the 30-year bond is bearish, it's not good for the market. So it's a good sign that the 30-year bond is bouncing out of above resistance. That's why we bought into the calls. All right. So this is something to look at in the days to come. If the 30-year bond breaks above and continues on higher, right? We break above this key level of resistance here, and you know, we continue on higher, but the NASDAQ and the stock market continues to fall. These are going to be very, very great buy opportunities at these levels, if that is the case. Because what they're doing, if this were to play out, where the bond goes higher, but the NASDAQ continues to fall, if that were the case, all they're trying to do is they're trying to buy the equity price of the stock, right? Of the stocks themselves, the SPY, the NASDAQ, the IWM. They're deliberately trying to buy them cheaper, okay? And that is something that we would probably do in their situation as well, where they want to buy into things cheaper. So if they can make everyone scared momentarily for a few days, the market would fall a bit more, and they just buy everything up much cheaper. So that could be a play that they're making in the near term, especially with this Apple news. So if this Apple news causes the market to really, really collapse, but if we see tons of strength in the 30-year bond, would be a pretty good opportunity to get into longs, in my opinion. So I would not be surprised if the market fell to this uptrend level of support here at around 353 to 354. And if you guys want to see all of the resistance levels, go ahead and stop the video and just pause and check out all those levels. But, you know, if we continue falling, these resistance levels are going to be irrelevant. So let's look at the SPY. We had a beautiful touch today. The low of the day was 432.78. This fib level was 432.72. So we were 6 cents off. And as we can see, we fell at that level, we bounced off a bit, but again, the negative news out of the NASDAQ can cause the SPY to fall lower and to have us retest this uptrend channel, which potentially could easily break, right? Especially if the NASDAQ continues to show weakness. These are going to be the levels of resistance up top, but it does look like we're going to come back and retest 430 to 432 soon on the SPY. 430 to 431-ish on the SPY, at least, in my opinion. But of course, we're in lotto calls, so analysis on the SPY is it all depends on the 30-year bond. Next, let's take a look at the IWM. So today is known to be a bullish day for banks because yesterday was a bank holiday. Today is known as Turnaround Tuesday, where all of the people that were on holiday yesterday, meaning the banks, the hedge funds, etc., they come and they get into, they buy into banks and the IWM, which is why the IWM was the most bullish today. It held 220 support very well, and things look really great. You can see that the MACD is going down, yet the price of the IWM is going up. So that is extremely strong and positive divergence. So that's very, very good. But we need to see if this move is going to be sustainable due to this downward move in the NASDAQ. But overall, the IWM held 220 very well. 220 is very, very important for us to hold. But as you can see, it failed at this resistance trend line here today. And essentially, this is very, very bullish. So as well as our RSI is moving up. So this whole setup currently on the IWM is very bullish. If the NASDAQ can maintain itself, and if the 30-year bond can start to cross up, the IWM, I think, will do very, very well. Because right now, clearly, the 10-year yield is also very, very strong. We can see that the environment currently is risk on. So hedge funds and banks are really looking towards shorter term investments to make more money, as opposed to longer term investments, which is why the longer term investments are going down, because investors are looking for shorter term, faster gains into the end of the year. And this quarter is when the IWM, the banks, there's usually tons of strength in that sector. Towards the end of the year and early next year is when a lot of penny stocks are also going to do very, very well. So we just need to keep monitoring that. So the dollar is obviously going up because the stock market is, bearish a bit at the moment. So when the dollar is continuing to go up like this, it basically means that investors are wary and they want to be sidelined a bit. So they want to keep their money in cash, essentially. So now I want you guys to see this right here, where you see the SPY, the QQQ, and the IWM, right? The last 2 times that the NASDAQ and the SPY were red and the IWM were green, the day after that, the NASDAQ was the leader. So that's another reason why I got into NASDAQ calls, because this pattern played out the last 2 times pretty perfectly. And I think that it might play out tomorrow. But this negative news out of Apple does not help that case. Anyway, there's my analysis on the stock market. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the crypto market. So we sold our Mara calls yesterday because we were at support, or we were at resistance, sorry. And as you can see, we failed clearly perfectly at this level of resistance. And what can end up happening now is we could continue falling down even lower. But this main level of support that needs to hold is 53,000. If 53,000 doesn't hold, then this move upward is just not sustainable. It could be very, very bad. And if we were to create a trend line here, we can, go short. Like, a lot of people are going to go short against this trend line. If we break, come back and retest and have, there's so many possibilities. People can just go crazy to the downside, and it just would not be good. This move upward, definitely not sustainable. But we would need a retracement. A retracement at this point would be bullish. So we need some sort of a retracement. This lower wick down here that came all the way down to 50,000 or 51,000 was a scam wick essentially, but we need some sort of consolidation before we continue on higher. You know, so I would like to see us fall back down to 53,000, give time for the MACD to cool off a bit, fall down, get oversold. RSI would get oversold. You know, I want us to find some sort of support on those indicators, find support on the price action, give some more time for Ethereum to catch back up, right? And then, you know, potentially Bitcoin could continue on higher. But this price movement right now is not the most bullish because we need a correction, consolidation. So yeah, we can see that Ethereum is still very far behind where Bitcoin is in terms of, you know, the strength. So Bitcoin is currently, you know, in the middle of the 1 and the 1.68, and Ethereum is nowhere near that. So there's still tons of room to the upside for Ethereum, but of course it's all the long game. Do you want to get into Bitcoin, or do you want to hold Ethereum for the long term and hope that Ethereum catches up to Bitcoin? And that's essentially what investors are looking at. We can see Ethereum's MACD is much more oversold, which is much better as compared to Bitcoin's MACD. So yeah, I mean, this is bullish. It means that there's tons of room to the upside. But of course, you know, as long as we hold above 53,000 on Bitcoin, even 50,000, that's still bullish. We just need some sort of a consolidation and hold that support. All right, there's my analysis on the crypto markets, on the stock markets. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, put on post notifications, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.